May the force be with you is a phrase used to wish a person well to overcome a challenge. The invitation in this podcast, May the life force be with you, is to explore what it means to truly feel alive, to appreciate the physical, emotional and spiritual connection to our energy, and finally to understand how this impacts who you are and all that you do. May this conversation inspire you to thrive. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of May the Life Force Be With You. I'm Fiona and I'm joined by Kahreela, and we have a guest with us waiting in the wings today as well. And before we kick off our introduction and episode, I'd like to just set a little intention for the energy that we're inviting into this space today. And that is one that I get the sense is full of adventure. It's full of fun and it's full of song. And so with that, Kahreela, over to you.
I know why you said a lot of fun because we have Zackary McKraken with us today, and he makes music under the name of Sore Eyes and runs a community-led adventure called Homeward Bound, which is all about sea shanties and songs of the land and the sea. And I am so curious to know where this episode of May the Life Force Be With You is going to go. Thank you for coming on the show, Zackary. We're excited to have you here.
You both are most welcome. I'm very flattered to be here. And this is my first sort of interview thing. Not an interview, but cafe conversation. And yes, the fact that you would indulge me for this amount of time is most sweet. And yes, I have joy to bring. I can't contain it. So yes, thank you so much. I'll listen up. It's okay.
Well, you're our first guest to be coming to us from outside. No one can see you in this because we're mostly listening, but you're coming to us from nature and outside in a garden, which is such a lovely element to bring into the podcast. We've never had that before. So you're obviously an outside person.
I was really wondering, like, because I didn't get the chance to completely like go over all of the previous episodes, but I thought to myself, do people do them outside as well? And I thought, well, there's loads of like birds and stuff here, and I thought, does that work with sonic kind of like, you know, podcasting and stuff like that? But I'm so happy that you are you accept that from me, because this is I tried to find I tried to think of a quiet place, and I was like I know a lot of people, I know a few buildings here and there, and I was just thinking, oh my god, where do I go that's quiet, like reliably quiet? And the only thing I could think of was my friend Spam's garden, and here it is.
I want to ask you about, since you're outside, what makes a song of land and sea?
Oh, I love this. I'm so excited. So one of the connections would be work songs. So there is toiling and there is work and there's production and there is service and there is and the one thing that connects that's why I often stress to call it folk and sea shanties, because there's just as much in the when a task needs to be done, whether in slavery, whether in prisons in America, whether in America, prisons anywhere.
Just American prisons.
Just American prisons.
Chain gangs, right? It's that chain gangs. That's what
Exactly.
I have an image of.
Exactly.
And they're doing work, and so they're using the rhythm of the music to kind of keep the pace of the work going and kind of morale going at the same time.
Exactly.
It's also a story.
What I hear is that these are songs that people sing to survive. Would you say that is right?
And to get them through, to pass the time, to sort of keep productive. Like with the sea shanties, you would have a hired shantyman whose job, I guess, in the army, you would have a band leader. Someone who is rousing because if people are sailing and people need spirit and gumption, you've got to have someone who is organizing. I guess it's the same with the conductor in an orchestra, right? But but this is for the purpose of sweat and toil and spirit, and because
you have somebody leading the song.
Yes.
And are they making traditionally, were they making the song up, or is it a song that is known? Was it call and response? Like how does it work?
Yeah. So the reason why I choose sea shanties is because it does use the call and response form, which essentially is the quickest way to sort of like whip people together, which is why I think, like with the postman guy on the internet, I celebrate that guy. It's really simple call and response.
What's the postman guy?
Sorry?
Oh, my sister's obsessed with him. She's got some of his work.
Yeah.
Talking about the street artist.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the guy who started the Wellerman on TikTok. And during lockdown, he was on his rounds, like delivering the post, but he just made a little video doing the song "The Wellerman," which is an old sea shanty, and it went absolute mental. Like Elon Musk and everyone singing sea shanties all of a sudden, and people were coming up to me going, "Oh, that's a shame, Zach. He beat you to it," and I'm like, don't beat me to anything at all. Like, celebrate the guy, because the thing is that the one thing we were missing was intimacy and singing together.
He sang a sea shanty song on TikTok in lockdown, and it went viral. Yeah. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess in lockdown.
I didn't know whether to say it.
I guess I don't know. I always do this, and I am not in this.
Don't you worry about it.
Do you think that is because everybody was surviving lockdown, and in the same way that, because being at sea was one of the hardest things. Like being at sea was horrendous. I remember when I was a tour guide talking about life at sea, and it was horrendous. Right. You had days of boredom, and then most of the time you were going to sea to go to war. So it was either very, very dangerous or very, 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 very boring and very, very arduous, and there wasn't enough food. It just was not a nice experience for a human being. Sea shanties were of singing to survive, and I wonder if that reason that the sea shanty spoke to us collectively in lockdown, even though I missed it, is because people were surviving something that's actually quite similar to being at sea. Being you're locked in when you're at sea.
Totally, and it's no coincidence, I think, that people who in the ordinary world who were struggling to be a normal citizen and trying to do things like pay bills, go to work, do normal things, but would say neurodivergence. All of a sudden, I mean, I'm one of these people. When lockdown happened, I was like, wow, you're in my neighborhood now. Like chaos you're bobbing around in the ocean. It's all unknown. People don't know what to do. So it 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 resonated with everybody because it whipped people together, which is why it's such a great vehicle. I call it like a Trojan horse for. It's a great way to walk into a room. You have a call and response. The melody is easy. We need to hold things together, and so like this is the most powerful form of like work songs. That's why I call it folk and sea shanties, because essentially work songs, if you what was needed at that time was intimacy, was closeness, was a form of like sort of like, how can we feel close to each other when we can't be close to each other? And so like it was a perfect storm, excuse the porn, but like so it absolutely resonated with everybody because it whipped everyone together, and people started harmonizing with each other online. People started to like do different versions of the Wellerman. I mean, there's some amazing versions of the Wellerman out there. From this postman, he lit the flame, basically, the flame that needed to be lit, which is beautiful. And people coming up to me and said, "Oh, it's a shame he beat you to it." It's absolute rubbish. I was made up when that guy like absolutely did it, because he started it. And then the thing is that it just got everyone just absolutely joining in with people and harmonizing with people and doing different versions. I heard hip hop versions. I heard like gangster versions of it. There's a Goldie Looking Chain version of it, which you've got to check out, which is about, it's about, they called it the Wellerman, but it's about like Paul Weller looking people, like mods.
Are you going to do a May the Light Be With You version for us now?
Oh my God. Give me a second. I'm only still, this is my first sort of, I'm still nervous, believe it or not. I get really nervous about these sort of things. So I hope you don't mind. Well, hey, by the end of it, we could.
Okay. All right. I'm going to hold you.
We really, really could. All right. I'm aware that you might have some questions, because I could just talk for hours right now. I'd give up my whole afternoon for this.
Well, can I ask something? And that is, if they're work songs, are they of a time and a place, or do they still have a place today? And what is the place of a work song or a shanty in kind of modern life, where we don't even bloody work in the same room together, never mind, or sometimes even in the same city? In my case, I don't even work in the same country as anybody else that I connect with.
Yeah.
I'm the only person who lives in the UK. So what's the place for them in today's work environment, do you think?
Well, funny enough, I had Budweiser like contact me last minute one time to say it was a Wednesday, it was raining, and it was I just got this email saying, Zach, there's 60 of us from the office in London, and this is like mid-COVID time, like time of like sort of when we were allowed to sort of like branch out a little bit, and they were like, can you bond us? Can you bond us? Can you? We are looking for an activity. We're looking for something to do that's just going to bring everyone together. We're down here for a conference. We'll like pay you. Just the 60 of us. It's going to be Wednesday morning. It's raining. What can you do? And like, I think this kind of answers the question, because before lockdown, people were happy to just kind of like do like things like zorbing and cupcake making and DJ learning and all this kind of stuff. But we're all just drinking, going to Prague and drinking or something like that. But like, but now it felt like people were just dying to be together. Do you know what I mean? And so I like got 60 hats, 60 red fisherman beanie hats, and like song scrolls, a few bottles of rum, and got the Fisherman Museum and sang from the top. And I took them to shout at the sea, like, and they absolutely loved it. Like I called them up the next week, and they just said, "We're all still wearing the hats in the office." Do you know, like, and so basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's sort of people wanted more. People wanted to reconnect with each other. They missed it. They realized that they were not having these times together. And so post that, I feel that from doing my sessions all around Brighton every week, they've been getting busier and busier from ages from 19 to 90. People have been coming to, I've been calling it the salty church, right?
The salty church.
Like, I know that. I know.
I have to say, I feel like I just want to honor how beautiful this is, because actually with you speaking about this and the salty church and lockdown, which for a lot of people was so traumatic, how beautiful is the human heart that even when we're enslaved, when we're in prison, when we're going through collective crisis, what we want to do is be together and sing together. Like that is just, and also what profound wisdom, like if singing together helped our ancestors survive ships,
which it did,
slavery, and the things that human beings should never have gone through in the first place. It's like how much medicine is in that, like how much, it's kind of like, it's almost like it's proven that it's how we can make a difficult situation better, is come together and sing through it. And I want to ask, is it singing on your own, or is there a difference between singing together? Is it the togetherness that is
right? It's totally the togetherness. It's the communion. It's the so using the sea shanties, say, which I have a book which I always bring to every session. People, they are of the most, it's a book compiled of the most popular songs that people know and bring, and like that might have heard from childhood, and they're not all sea shanties and stuff. But what happens is that my sessions, people, I sort of like, I lay the land down, but the one thing, trust me, I'm going to wrap this up in it sounds scratchy, but this is my mind, and this is, apparently I heard someone say, I've got the tabs open and I will conclude the tabs. Don't you worry. Okay. So like,
we're here for it. We're here.
Just get loads of tabs opening up, and we will get to the one tab at the end. But the thing is that lots of people are really intimidated by singing. Like 80% of people say to me, "Oh, I'm not going to join in. I can't sing."
That would be me.
So like, yes, everybody says it, and I'm
but
like,
I do.
That's fine. That's fine. Because the thing is that when they join in this session, and I'm not trying to promote my session. It's not about that. It's about the bigger experience. Really, what I'm trying to say is that by creating a platform where people can feel confident enough to pipe up, which is why at the beginning of every session I do, I just scream my head off. I just scream. I invite everybody to just scream, shout in a venue wherever we are, like in the way that you were not allowed to do in you know what I mean? You'll get kicked out for doing that in any other situation. Scream, shout, wobble your face, crawl on the floor, do it. It's like is it gestalt, like sort of therapy, like do this, and then everybody, you lay the land for people who think this is going to be about good singing. It's not. So once people know that it's not going to be about good singing or good voices or technical ability or grade 8 or anything like that, all of a sudden they feel, I can join in with this. I can do this. And what happens is that empathetically, everyone in the room, someone will start to sing a song, and I will reassure them, we will all back you up. So in answer to what you're saying, is that when you start to sing a song that you would like to sing, it could be anything, everybody in the room will get behind you. And that gives you like absolute confidence. And it gives you, so it's like, all of a sudden it just starts to make sense. Like everyone gets, there's a thing, right? Remember that I've got these tabs open and we're getting to don't worry. I'm aware that like, I'm not just, are you guys all right? Are you guys all right with this?
We're with you. We're with you and all your tabs.
Brilliant. Right. So there's a clip on YouTube, right? Which is someone puts a sheet of plastic with about 20 metronomes. Do you know metronomes? Like, yeah. You know, these machines that in the old days people used to sort of when they practice. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Time. Yeah.
They were all set at the same tempo, but set off at different times. So it's like like this. After literally about 10 minutes, the vibrations start to just bring all of them together. Do you know what I mean? Watch it on YouTube. Just go, just type in metronomes syncing, something like that, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's exactly what the joy of these singing sessions or songing sessions, as I like to call them. It's what happens. Someone will start and it will feel like people join in and it's a bit hairy, like note-wise and stuff like that and key-wise, but we don't talk about key. If you go to choir practice, people go, you're the bass, you're the treble, you're this and this and this. That's all stressful, and I wouldn't be getting involved with that. No, like, I'm not against that.
Or in my case, they said, can you leave?
Wow.
Said when I went to choir.
Really?
Seriously, when I was 9 years old, I went because I love singing. I love being dancing. I love music. And I went to join the choir when I was 9. And they were like, stop. Someone is horrifically out of key. And they made everybody sing individually. They got to me and they were like, yeah, you're done. And I've been so scared to sing since.
That's traumatic.
That's really upsetting.
That's traumatic. And exactly the same happened to me. My drama school, my singing teacher at drama school after 4 years called me in and was like, you work really hard, but if you're out of time and out of tune, there's nothing I can do for you.
Oh my God.
Can you mime? Can you just mime?
Oh my God, that's awful. This shit can really affect you. This shit can really affect you.
Trauma people.
Perfect. You're both my prime specimens. This is exactly, because the one thing that I set up to do was to create a place for people like yourself, which are many. I mean, look, what's the success rate of me? I'm talking to 2 people. I didn't know you were singers. I mean, like, you both have had that experience, and you are the people. You're my target market, basically. And so, because when you turn up, there's none of that, and you get to find, you get, everyone gets to, they all, by the end of the song, everybody, like the metronomes, everybody is in the same key, singing the same thing at the same time, and having that communion feeling.
We just start vibrating. Yes. Is that what happens?
Yes, and through empathy and love, you're all bending. Everyone's bending to the core energy. You know, like the Millennium Bridge. I just was reading about the Millennium Bridge. I didn't realize this is what the problem was with the Millennium Bridge, is that when they were walking across it, people, like, it started to rock, so people would move with the rocking of the bridge sympathetically. And then that was what was dangerous, because it started to just move all together synchronizingly. And that's what happens. And so that can be used in a really good way. So me being a man of chaos, I love that. And also being kind of neurodivergent, and also sort of like knowing that there are people there who don't have the courage, that they were better. So the lady who makes, I think I've closed about 2 tabs now. Okay, just let you know. Right, okay, I've closed about 2 tabs now, so we're getting down there. We're breaking them down. The woman who makes the songbooks, Jo Goddard, who is of Sandra Goddard's family, folk family, tradition in Brighton. Her mum's name is on the front of the Brighton bus. She came to my session on a motorbike, and she turned up one day and she said, I tried to go to choir practice and everything else, and it just felt so intimidating, so scary, that I just couldn't sing. And I haven't sang for years. And this session gave me the confidence. Seeing people fail, seeing people be flawed, hearing notes that are dodgy, hearing mistakes. We stop songs if we feel like it's not the right note. I call it a workshop. We've got a default kind of like code word for, like, sort of like, it's a workshop. Do you know what I mean? So that, like, everyone can know that there's just no airs and graces around any of it. Do you know what I mean? And so everyone is welcome. There's so much magic I could tell you about it all.
Tell us some magic.
I feel like I haven't got time, but you've got an editor, don't you?
Open a magic tab.
Okay, right. So let me tell you about the one story that really solidified this whole thing for me, because I lost my last proper job at the Hand in Hand, not for doing anything wrong, but just for giving the boss mild hell, is what she said. And now we're better friends for it. We're almost best friends. And I do my shanty sessions at her pub. But it was just my neurodivergence. Like, she had rota apps and stuff, and she's like, Zach, just get a diary. Like, I'm supposed to be at shift, but I'd be in Plymouth or something like that. And she's like, are you coming in a minute? I'm like, no. And she's like, Zach, get a diary. And I'm like, I've got 6 diaries, Jen. Do you know what I mean? So basically, I was consciously, we both laughed. I was consciously uncoupled from this job. And that's when I went to see the doctor about sort of seeing what was happening with my brain, because I just thought, for 40 odd years, like, it's just always struggling with, why can't I just be a normal bloody citizen? Why can't I? What have I got to offer? I don't have any skills. And it was realizing that the one skill that I might have to bring is energy and empathy And basically, it's from then, that day, that I started doing the sessions, right? And so I started doing the sessions at the Jolly Brewer on Ditchling Road, but in lockdown, just before lockdown. And there was, people started to come to the sessions. But what I noticed was that some people would be really shy, and they would sit away, far away, like on the other side of the pub. There was one guy, a Welsh guy, who looked like Dylan Thomas, and he was a wonderful, shy, painfully shy guy. He had a blazer, curly hair, like badges all over his blazer and stuff like that. And he would just not really talk to anyone. And I would go up to him and say, hey, anytime you want, you can sing a song if you ever feel like doing it, but like no pressure. Okay. And you're welcome to join in and do everything. And I'll leave it there, because pressure does not work in this situation. And so I noticed, this was just before lockdown, every 2 weeks I was doing a session, he was edging closer to the session. And then there was the final folk shanty session just before we were about to get locked down. And I turned up late. I kind of turned up purposefully late. I just have this feeling like sometimes you should just be a bit late. You know what I mean? That's not always an excuse. Good excuse. But like, I can't do that.
There's magic in being late.
There's magic. The universe was telling me to just hold off a little bit. Exactly. So I walked in, and the place was packed. Place was pumping, because people knew that they were about to get locked down. I walked in, and the Welsh guy turned around to me and said, Zach, I'm finally ready to sing a song. Oh. And I was like, oh, wow. What are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to do a Welsh hymn. And I was like, that's beautiful. And you know what? We just stopped the session. Loads of people, steamy windows, everything. And he just piped up and just belted out a Welsh hymn. And he felt amazing, like, you know, and we all cried. Everyone stood up, cried. And I just thought, this is the sweet spot. This is the sweet spot. Like, of where, when I was sacked from the job, like I kind of went into an alleyway and it was raining, and I kind of was like hitting myself on the head, just thinking, why can't I hold a job down when everybody wants me to be there? Like, people petitioned for me to stay. And it was that moment that I was sort of thinking, I don't want to turn this about me. It's not about me. It's about everybody else. But it takes someone to lead it. And it brings it back to what you were saying earlier about the shanty man, about sort of like, you can be at sea, but if you have someone, sometimes people need to be directed. People need to be brought out of, and some people have more life force than other people.
Fiona knows that I am about to lose my shit as I do.
Tabs closed. All the tabs are closed.
Because literally, you don't understand the magic that has just happened on this show. The show that we just recorded before was all about leadership from somebody that is coming from a very different point of view, from a very different world, from coaching corporate leaders. And, you know, what we were saying is that there is a leadership crisis going on in the West at the moment. And why I want to lose my shit is because what you've just said is that what is required for leadership is the right level of energy. It's like if you do not have somebody full
empathy,
of energy, full of life force, full of empathy, what you get
is what we were talking about last
chaos.
week too, right?
Yeah, what you get is chaos rather than harmonization, because what the leader is meant to be doing is bringing everybody together. Sorry.
Yes.
Cannot.
It's true.
The magic of may the life force be with you. I cannot believe this has just happened.
Exactly. I'm so glad. This is it completely. And the thing is, they have to believe in you, and they have to trust you, and it really helps to to deface yourself, or to no, deface yourself. Humility, like you got to show people there's no perfection in this room. There's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that I will make a dick out of myself. I will make a fool out of myself in front of you. I will get on my knees and scream and wail out of key, in key.
Come and join me.
My front tooth will fall out. You know what I mean? I'll be, like everything. I've been doing my own dentistry work for years, and and it doesn't matter. And once people see that, they go, "Oh, he's not higher than us. He is going to lead us." But once you get it going, I don't get a look in. Trust me, like when this works, and when people get confidence, when people start to do it, you can't stop people. I'm like sing the first 3 songs, and then I get no action anymore. Do you know what I mean? So then I turn to backing everyone up if there needs to be bass, or if there needs to be something else, or like whatever it takes to do that, because it's all like, and we're all a team, and we're all and so it's just giving it wind and giving it power, and that is I've just had so much stuff.
That's how I feel, like the energy from that. Like, my God, you want to shout it from the rooftops, right? I can
completely.
You're like, I want to burst to let people share this, because absolutely every bit of that.
Yeah, completely. And people like start the night going. People saying to me, "When are you on?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's not me that's on. It's you that's on." Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna set this thing off, and it's you. And I don't care. I don't care about having like looking good or sounding good or getting praise. For me, the thrill for me is to watch people come out of their shells and burst out with something that they've never done before. And from that Welsh guy, and from seeing like 90-year-old, we had this. Actually, had a 19-year-old kid. Can you call them kids? Are they kids at 19-year-old? I don't know. And a 90-year-old man, both in the same pub, singing the same song.
I do love it.
And it's just like they were just giving it everything. And then I helped conduct everybody to just whip the flames, sort of thing. And once it goes, they have all of a sudden got a whole room full of people singing their song behind them. And they turn around and say, "That was the best time I had."
And it's free, you know? Like, I mean, your workshops might not be free because you are, but what I mean is like, it's this absolute thing that allows us to survive slavery and brings 19 and 90-year-olds together. It doesn't cost anything in terms of.
It also makes you feel so good.
No, like,
let's get that bit right.
We're not having to drill for a crazy electric car batteries. Like this is something that you don't even need instruments, right? Because sea shanties are
Yes.
a cappella, like, so you don't even need any musicians. It's just the human heart vibrating with sound.
Totally. And loads of people say, oh, can I bring my accordion? Can I bring my... And I'm a musician. I'm a multi-instrumentalist person. And like I make music. Like I use all instruments, particularly like the harmonium. I've got 5 harmoniums.
All the instrumental jams are open.
Oh yeah. And don't worry, I can. But I make the decision I strictly say no to instruments, because when people leave that session, they have not even realized that there was no instruments there at all. Do you know what I mean? Like they just go. I'll turn around sometimes and say, have you noticed that there was never any instruments here tonight? And yet you heard music, and you heard music from people who said, nearly all of them said they can't sing. And it's like, bullshit, absolute bullshit. You all can sing, and you've all got energy, and yeah. So yeah. Do you know this stuff is, it's passionate to me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We can feel
like
the passion.
it exudes. Yeah, I know. And my kind of like slight weird version of that, like, is, I'm obviously Scottish, and we like a good song in a pub, being Scottish.
Yes.
And I, for many years, foolishly followed the Scottish football team, and now I've switched to rugby. I could sing Flower of Scotland in a packed stadium.
Yes.
Music. It's when the bagpipes get cut and the crowd just take over. It gives me goosebumps. And
yes, exactly.
I'm almost more excited about singing Flower of Scotland at the
beginning
watching
of the game
than I am the actual
yes, completely. And this is the thing: if you went up to someone outside of a match, a massive match, a stadium, whatever, and just pointed someone out and said, "I loved your voice," they'd be like, "What? Shut up, yeah, shut up." I mean, I would, generally speaking, you know what I mean? It's like, shut up, you call me a puff, you know what I mean? No, I'm just joking. Like, but the thing is that, but they've just had that same communion. Do you know, in football matches and, in sport matches, when people are singing together, that's folk. That's the sound of people. Yep. And it's just as true as songs.
Yeah.
They make them up. They make them up.
Miles and miles as a football, because I was part of the Tartan Army, and I remember walking miles from the centre of Iceland to the stadium. We were all singing "Doe a Deer," a female deer, all the way there. What the hell's that got to do with football? But it's what we all chant together, and by the time the stadium, everyone's on a hyper, but the energy is collective. We're all rooting for the same thing, and so as a player to run out to that, you're running into that inspiration, and that's why you do it, right? To kind of set your team off with the best intentions and the best positive energy. And that's my version of getting into that, is around my love of sport.
Totally. And you're just vibrating together with all of the people, and you're and that massive general hum and warm vibration with each other that is finding itself with itself, the metronomes, like there's a sense of togetherness that you were not getting, like in lockdown, and you were not getting, and also like lockdown, I know it was tough, like, and really hard for people, like especially people in hospitals and stuff. I was dating a girl who was a nurse at that time, like, like I'm aware of like the stress that that was going on at that time. But I gotta say, and like, I mean, I've been accused of being a positive, what is it? A toxic positivist. Right. I won't say who, but and that says more about them I think that it does about me. I'm not going to take that because I got confidence to know that, like, despite on a political level, whether you disagree with, like everything that happened with the pandemic and everything like that, which largely, I do. But the good thing that came out of it, it really made people want to connect in that way. And I felt like that postman lit the flame for that. Do you know what I mean? And like, and it got people singing together, and it got people getting this buzz. And I just think that if that is one of the byproducts of that situation, then hey, that's a positive. You know what I mean?
I don't think
So,
that's
like,
positivity, Zackary. I think,
yeah, thank you.
I think that actually part of a good. What I'm hearing from you is that you are an igniter. You're so full of life force energy that you have the power to ignite a recklessness or a letting go within a room, to ignite a song, and I think to be able to ignite requires an ability to find the positivity. It's like the positivity is the spark in the darkness of an experience. It's like that is igniting the way out, in a way that is igniting the way through. And what I'm hearing is that the song leaders, the leaders of the hearts coming together, and the shanties, that's what they do. They ignite the way through. They ignite something, leads us through, whether it is song or heart coming together or intimacy or all of these things that are about our humanity. And I think it's really, really special. And I think it's because of how much energy you have and all the tabs you could open.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, before I do any of that, I have to go into a toilet cubicle and like sit for 10 minutes and just be like probably have a big whiskey. I won't lie. I'll probably have a big whiskey. I like, because I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, you walk into a room and people say, "Oh, do you know what? I mean, here we go. New tab. This is such a great metaphor. I love this tab thing. It's great. It's perfect. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I had a gig at the Jamboree in London, playing for an all-day festival to help celebrate the Harrison Pub, and to raise funds for the Harrison Pub in King's Cross, which is a great folk pub and run by Michael Moore. And he champions loads of like music, folk music that's going around. And he asked me to come and like sing at one of his sessions. But he hired the Jamboree, which is nearby, a new venue that used to be run in the Cable Street Studios. And I turned up and there was like about 100 people, and I was like, oh my God. And I get really nervous, you know what I mean? Really, like, how I'm about to just start screaming my head off in this room. Are people going to be with you? Do you know what I mean? Are people going to be with you? And it didn't help the fact that I had my best friend turn up drunk, just going, there was a jazz band on beforehand. I was like, shush, Brian, we need to be quiet because there's a jazz band on before us. So like, let's be quiet. It's not about me right now. It's not about me. And he's like a lovely, beautiful Irish wolfhound of a person, who just like was just really excited, and but your empathy is just going, listen, I don't want to piss anyone off, because I don't anyway, but I also want everyone to be on board with me. So I don't want to walk into the place and start being rowdy and boisterous and stuff like that. So like, this was the most beautiful thing that ever happened to me, like in the history of my singing sessions. Like, so I started singing, and I even left my front tooth out that day, and I think people are looking at me like, what's this gonna be like after this lovely, sweet jazz band that was playing? And so I start screaming, whipping everyone together and stuff like that. And it's going and it's working. But then I start to hear some other sound going on. And I've thought to myself, with my self-deprecating sort of thing, I'm like thinking, oh, they've given up on me. They've put the music on halfway through. I'm like, oh, that's a shame. But then I realized it wasn't. It was 3 girls starting to drone to the songs I was doing. And I was like, stop, everybody. What's going on here? This is amazing. And they're going, we want to sing along with you. And there's 3 girls who like do this, like they drone together and they sing together. And I will put up a link to their page, because I never got it right at the time, and I probably won't get it right now, but I will put a link to their page because they're beautiful. Like, it was so lovely. And they started to sing all of the notes that I can't get to.
Wow.
Like, I always try to suggest the different ways you can be singing along to these songs. But they started droning to the songs, and it was the most beautiful. I stood there and I was like in tears. I was like, this is the most beautiful, like the most amazing thing. And it just whipped everybody together. It just gave it like absolute beauty and class, and like
I love that. I love that people can fill in the notes you can't hit. Why did my drama school singing teacher not say that to me? Zackary,
exactly.
My heart, you have blown my heart open, and I'm sure all of the listeners are just with you and your tabs and your songs. We are in the Salty Church. Unfortunately, we have to close because
I knew this was going to happen.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
You have one question, and I'm wondering if you can answer it in one tab.
All right, I'm just going to strictly keep it one tab.
Who should we have on May the Life Force Be With You next?
Oh my God. Wow. I know. Cassia from the Rose Hill Tavern. The Rose Hill venue. Cassia and Jules from the Rose Hill. Get them. Okay. They will give you absolute joy and quality, and they will, again, you need to make your podcast longer because there's so much that these people can like, your life force containing it into an hour is tricky.
It's very tricky.
I mean?
Oh, believe me, we would go on for days, but it's hard for people that are listening with lives to kind of be able to share.
This is true.
That said, we do something called the Life Force Cafe, which allows listeners to go deeper with some of our guests, and maybe just maybe you could come and do a shanty session on the Life Force Cafe, and that would
I would love that. Yes,
that
absolutely, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Let's organise it. Yeah.
Awesome.
You and Budweiser. There we go.
I would love that. I mean, the tech side of things might be a bit sort of tricky, because it is such a sort of an intimate thing with people, but we can definitely try it.
For our members, like maybe there is something that we could, I don't know. We'll work on the tech. There's definitely ways we can
yes
figure it out. Let's do it.
But you have me. Yes, I'm signed up for that.
Fantastic.
Totally, because
this was so joyful, and we didn't even sing. We were just in harmony, just listening. So thank you so much again. And you're right, we need a 3-hour podcast.
Sorry. I mean, that's just because I feel like I want to talk to you for hours. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I could sit here all day with you. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry we didn't end up with a song, but maybe doing a song at this session, at this thing that we can come up with. That will be the thing.
We'll do social media song.
I love this. Let's do that. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to say, I don't think you need it actually, Zackary, but may the life force be with you. May even more life force be with you. Thank you so much.
As long as it keeps me alive, that's the thing. Like, because I'm in danger of dying very soon, of expending my life force. But it's all worth it. So yeah, thank you both very much. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yes.
Well, don't you just love the diversity of conversations that we have, but that always create a thread?
Always.
So special. My face is sore with smiling, speaking to Zackary. He's amazing energy.
Just amazing. And just like, I feel like he's a genius, actually. Like, I feel like, the way his mind works is the way a genius's mind works. And yet, at the same time, there is so much simple wisdom about how to survive and how to be in empathy. Like, literally, I feel like that was a lesson in true empathy, vibrational empathy. It was amazing.
And you can just feel it, can't you? You know yourself when you're in that moment where everybody's singing along. And so I love live music so much. Because, you're all in a room. I also believe, which I'm sure I've shared before, that it's not just the vibrational notes, it's also the breath. So you sync your breath when you sing together, which is like a deepening of that connection, and like human to human kind of empathy also goes with that mirroring as well of breath and of the vibration. So yeah, it's get out there and support more live music and musicians, guys. I think that's the message as well.
Get to the Salty Church if you're in Brighton.
What a great name, right?
Great name. Gotta be the title.
It's got to be the title.
That'll be the title,
doesn't it? Oh my God. So done. But yeah, I'm excited to see where the conversation leads next, how we can invite some more music into this podcast, because it is Life Force Giving, and we've got our episode with Michelle called Get Possessed that people can listen to, which is the opposite end of a sea shanty, which is Michelle's beautiful opera singing voice. So if you haven't checked that out, go back and take a listen, because music is so important for life force energy.
May the life force and the music be with you all. We hope this conversation has topped up your life force energy. If it has, then please help us spread the life force. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. And may the life force be with all.